Hey y'all, Baddies Africa episode 13 review slash recap. If you're watching me on TikTok, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you follow me on TikTok. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this episode was a mess. Everybody was a hypocrite, and I feel like Zeus did not do good with the cameras. So y'all know how this episode starts. Ivory was calling Dolly out. Then Cole K started stepping up saying, oh, Dolly, you don't want to fight Ivory, so fight me. And then Summer popped on Cole K. Next thing you know, it was an all-out brawl. Now, when I first watched the episode, I was completely Team Choco because I didn't understand why Cole K stomped her like that later in the episode. But if you slow it down, it changes my whole perspective, which is why I say Zeus needs to do better on the camera work. Or at least have them do confessionals that explain what happened that we didn't see. Like, if y'all know the scene was crazy and we might have missed something important, y'all need to let the girl do a confessional and say what happened to them and then go back and re-show us when that happened. Because it was so much going on, I did not see that when Summer started fighting Cole K, Elsie and Choco snuck Cole K. They started jumping Cole K. Choco dragged Cole K to the ground for no reason. Now, I will give Choco a slight pass because she has been saying she's Team Elsie. She's here to defend Elsie. And just a couple episodes ago, I told y'all I did not like how Cole K and Rican jumped Elsie because Elsie is not a person who needs to be jumped. So I do feel like maybe when Elsie and Cole K started fighting, Choco was like, F it, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump with my B because they've been jumping my girl. So now I'm going to jump. So I kind of understood that. But then I can't be mad at Cole K for stomping you 20 minutes later. So while all that is going on, Rican is also kicking Choco in the behind. Pretty P is just trying to get in where she could fit in. You know, she's following behind Ivory. So whoever Ivory's swinging on, she's swinging on. And then Fauna and Tavy don't like Lex, so they both swinging on Lex. Scene was a mess. I'm glad it's over. It ended with Ivory smacking the security guard's butt because he's on top of her. Then you got Elsie in the confessional talking about, oh, my B got jumped and I couldn't do nothing about it. Well, you're the whole reason that she got jumped. Because who told you to hit Cole K while she was fighting Summer? Choco was having your back. Then you see Choco walking around and she's like, oh, who took my wig off? Who removed my wig? And you hear Diamond like, what's going on? But she's shaking a wig while she's saying that. So I'm assuming DTB took Choco's wig off. So that sounds to me like at some point, Cole K, Rican, Pretty P, Ivory, and DTB was all going at Choco and maybe Elsie. Next thing you know, Lex calls out Rican. Now, she says she was calling Rican out for trying to jump Dolly, but Rican been trying to jump everybody, like I said. I don't know what the thing is with her and Cole K, but they can't stop jumping. They jump Elsie, they apparently tried to jump Dolly, and they was just jumping Choco. So Lex was telling Rican, come here. You standing with your whole crew of people. Like, I need a one-on-one. I don't want to get jumped. Rican talking about, so shut up. So basically, you don't want to get out there. But anyway, eventually Rican did get out there, and she got tore the fuck up. Lex was clocking her. Getting uppercutted all in her shit. So then Rolly came out and she asked Rican who was fighting, and Rican was like, me and Lex. Rolly was like, oh. Because y'all remember Rolly said she pick and choose last season. She said she would not be fighting Lex. So I think she was surprised that somebody as weak as Rican, who really can't fight, got out there with Lex. And Rolly was like, you know, I'm pretty sure she lost, but I'm glad she got out there and did her shit. That's basically what Rolly said in so many words. She was like, you know, I didn't know Rican had it in her, but hey, she got out there. So now Elsie want to fight Cole K again. Natalie trying to figure out what's the problem between them. And Elsie still talking about when Cole K slapped her in the winery. You got slapped and you waited 2 weeks to do something. Now you want to keep fighting about it over and over again. Get this delayed reaction the fuck up out of here. You only want to do something because you got Choco now. And because you're trying to stay off that chopping block. So you like, let me keep getting out there while Russian is injured and she not doing nothing. So if they do decide to send somebody home, it'll be Russian instead of you. You not slick, Elsie. So Elsie doing all that stupid screaming that she be doing when she be crashing out. Eventually, they let her and Cole K get it. Cole K was effing Elsie up. Nobody's surprised there because at least Cole K actually swings. She doesn't just grab like Elsie. But while all of that is going on, DTB sneaks Choco. So after that, Choco is like, okay, come on, Diamond. I need that now. I want a one-on-one. Here goes Ivory stepping up talking about, no, you could fight me. You could fight me. So now the same thing that y'all saying y'all got an issue with Dolly about, picking and choosing, not always getting out there, saying she injured and letting Lex fight her battles. You doing the same thing. DTB just snuck that girl for no reason, Ivory. So why are you fighting her battle and letting her claim this fake injury that she's going to claim for the rest of the episode? So yeah, one thing about me, I'm not biased, or at least I try not to be. Yes, I have my favorites, but if I don't like Dolly, Summer, and Lex for a certain reason, and I see the people that I like doing that same shit, they're getting called out too. Now, while all of this chaos is going on, Natalie and Rolly decide to go to the obstacle course. But I will say that I did see Rolly kind of stepping in and out. Like, she would go see what was going on, talk to some of the girls, check in, and then go back to the obstacle course. Now, Ivory literally didn't even know that DTB had snuck Choco, and you could tell. Because at first, Choco was like, she hit me. And Ivory said, y'all already fought, and y'all said it's done. And Choco was like, no, she snuck me right now. And Ivory literally, when she did this face, I said, oh, she know that DTB is wrong, but she's still about to just take DTB's side because that's her friend. Because she was like, Cole K and Elsie was fighting and she snuck me. So I feel like the real thing for Ivory to do would have been like, okay, so you need to get out there, friend. You could coach her and all that. You need to coach DTB and you need to let her get out there. You don't need to take no fade for her when she running around sneaking people and 5 minutes later talking about I can't fight. That's some pussy ass shit, for real. And you could hear DTB in the back saying, oh, you jumped in Elsie fight, so we jumping you. DTB, you don't even like Cole K like that. Are we forgetting that y'all still got this weird ass tension about this song that y'all was still carrying out at that talent show to the point that they had to call Tinkerbella and give her a storyline to return? So don't play with me. You don't even like Cole K like that. So Cole K and K Rican jumping Elsie and then Elsie and Choco turning around and jumping Cole K has nothing to do with you, Diamond. That's not your group of friends, for real. And if you did feel that way, then get out there. Diamond talking about I'm done fighting her and I said what I said. Please. Pretty P in her confessional sounding like a follower and a punk asshole too. She talking about, oh, Choco need to stop messing with DTB because she gonna have to fight the big dog and I don't know if she ready for that. I'm starting to think you just friends with Ivory because you don't want to get beat up. So Ivory keep telling Choco, you're not fighting my B. DTB is standing behind Ivory. Then Cole K is on the table and she throws something at Elsie who's standing behind Choco. DTB knows she looked like a punk in my opinion, which is why she got on the table and started screaming. And she was like, oh, if Lex could take a fade for Dolly, then my B could take a fade for me. Lex took a fade for Dolly, which I wasn't here for. But when she took the fade for Dolly, Dolly literally had an eye patch on. And we literally had saw Dolly get tore by Tavy the day before to the point that her whole face was leaking. She was actually injured. Where is your injury that Ivory needs to take a fade for you right now? Like DTB is literally falling out talking about her ankle hurt, but then Ivory saying her hand hurt. The injury is not real. Y'all don't even know what body part y'all trying to say she's injured on. So Ivory said DTB need 2 days to heal and Choco just gonna have to wait to fight her. And then Russian was in the back and she said nobody waited for me to heal. Nobody waited for me to heal to get beat up. And Russian was in her confessional popping it saying that Diamond injury isn't real. Like I said, Diamond injury is not real, but I really feel like Russian injury is not that serious either. So Choco was like, okay, DTB, you don't want to fight right now. Bottom line is you owe me one. Like I said what I said. And Ivory, you just said that DTB needed to heal for 2 days, then she could fight Choco. Now you talking about, no, F that. You already fought my friend 5, 6, 7 times. Next time you want to fight her, you got to go through me. Why she got to go through you as if she's starting with your friend? Your friend is sneaking people. Your friend is starting. So you need to let your friend have that. Like Ivory's pissing me off too. And I'm also getting tired of DTB wearing those same jean, super coochie cutter shorts that she be wearing every time she fight. So then Elsie started saying, listen, if Diamond's not going to jump in, then Choco, just fight Ivory. So Choco and Ivory square up. At first, they was both kind of just throwing their hands and swinging. And Choco looked like she would have kind of connected on Ivory a little bit, but the fight ended up turning. Ivory was able to use that weight and get Choco down on the ground, and she was tearing Choco by the end of the fight. She got her down on that bench and down on that ground. Beat Choco down to the ground. And then here comes Cole K stomping Choco out. And like I said, I kind of understood it after rewatching the first scene that Choco and Elsie did jump Cole K. So she was kind of just returning the favor, but I did feel like the stomp was a bit much, but I can't really speak on it because if it was me and I just got jumped by somebody, I probably would have did the same thing, not gonna lie. I've been in those situations. But I felt like the same way Cole K got the one-on-one with Elsie, she could have did that with Choco. Or even let Fauna get the one-on-one with Choco, since that's really your girl and she be getting out there for you and she's the best fighter in your trio. Now, when Lex saw that Cole K was jumping in, she started tearing Cole K ass up. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like Lex probably didn't see Cole K and Elsie fight at the beginning where Choco jumped in because Lex was getting attacked by Tavy and Fauna. So all she saw was Cole K stomping Choco, and she's like, for what? Because as far as we knew, before this point, Cole K and Choco didn't have no issue. Their issue became a problem right now when Choco decided to have Elsie back and jump Cole K back with Elsie. So I wasn't mad at Lex for that, because that's something else that I probably would have done. If I'm kind of cool with a girl and I just see 2 people stomping her out and I don't really understand why and I don't think she did nothing to deserve that, I'm going to probably get involved too. And then I don't know where Marissa thought she was going. She said she was going to look after another or look after her people. To me, that sounded like you was going to jump in. So Summer tagged Marissa ass too, and I'm not mad about it because I don't know what you was going to do. And you damn sure didn't need to add yourself to that situation when Ivory and Cole K was already on Choco. So what was you going over there to do? You not security. So I'm not gonna lie, after those rounds, Choco and Cole K was both looking crazy. So Ivory definitely tore Choco and Lex definitely tore Cole K. Lex looked untouched after the fight, and she basically said in her confessional, you know, we not doing that. I'm not letting nobody just stomp nobody out and jump somebody who I don't have a problem with and who I don't think is doing nothing crazy in front of me. And Lex has always claimed that she was anti-bully and anti-jumping, and she does show that for the most part. My only problem with her is that she doesn't show that across the board, because she's friends with Dolly and Summer, who are bullies and who jump people. And like I said, it's one thing to be friends with them, but we also never see her check them on camera. Maybe she's doing it off camera, but we've never seen her tell Dolly and Summer, you're wrong for that, you went too far for that, I don't think y'all should have jumped that person. You know, I don't never hear that from Lex. So that's my only problem with her, which kind of makes her a hypocrite as well. So Ivory screaming, she talking about she need to catch her breath, and she like, if you ain't tripping with me, then I ain't effing talking to you. She ends up falling on one of the obstacle course things. Lex and everybody's in the corner laughing. So everybody's kind of finally calming down a little bit. Marissa's in the corner with Cole K. They both with the medics. Cole K got an ice pack on her head, and Marissa getting her cut checked out or cleaned. And she basically like, oh, I need a shot because I'm about to get it on in here. So I guess she want to run it with Summer again. Diamond's on the floor laughing. Choco's in the corner with an ice pack. And Russian goes over and asks her, is she okay? And she was like, they jumped you. And Choco was like, yeah. And she was like, but at the end of the day, Diamond snuck me. So I'm going to fight her every day, again and again and again, until I die. Then Choco starts screaming, talking about this is our show. We run this show. We're African. So she talking to Elsie. And she like, F you. And Ivory said, F you. And like I said, I think Choco and Elsie are a little delusional about that, feeling like because they're native Africans that they're just set to be on the show for the whole season. Because like I said, Dia was on Baddies Caribbean. She was a native person from Bahamas, and she got kicked out mid-season. Natalie and Lemmy do not care. If you're not giving what they feel like you need to give to the show, you will be removed no matter where you're from or if it's a season of the place you're from. So Cole K standing up there, and Fauna asked her what's up, and she was like, girl, I got a lump. And Fauna was like, who you for? And she said, Lex. And Lex was like, yeah, because you tried to jump in. And Cole K was like, yeah, for sure, we did that. And Lex was like, no, I did that. So like I said, I get both sides. I get where Lex is coming from, like, girl, you had no business jumping, so I did that. But I get where Cole K is coming from, because like I said, I don't think Lex saw that Choco and Elsie just jumped her. So Cole K was like, yeah, it don't matter because I still got out there. And Lex said, you didn't get out nowhere. You didn't see it coming, just like your friend K Rican didn't see it coming. So like I said, Cole K did kind of clock the same thing I said in her confessional. She basically said, okay, Lex felt like she had to jump in for some bees, but her bees been jumping people all season. If you standing on morals and principles about jumping, then you need to feel that way across the board, and you need to speak on it across the board. And Lex was like, you know, me and Choco might not be the best of friends, but I F with her. Me and her are cool. So I just wasn't going to let that happen in front of me. And then DTB was like, girl, but you jumped Scotty at the reunion, which is true. Dolly, Lex, and Summer did come out at the Midwest reunion and jump Scotty. But then Lex took it further back, and she said, okay, and Scotty and Anna jumped Summer in Hawaii at the end of the Baddies Midwest season. So who really started the jumping? Now, I really don't remember who started the jumping, honestly, back on Midwest, but I do kind of feel like it might have been Scotty and Anna. So don't quote me on that. Y'all could let me know in the comments. I would have to really go back and rewatch to confirm who was the first person that started jumping once Lex, Summer, and Dolly got on the show. But I feel like it was Scotty and Anna, because they was on that a lot last season, and we all kept saying we didn't know where this new friendship and duo came from with Scotty and Anna. But once Lex mentioned Scotty and Anna jumping Summer in Hawaii in response to DTB, Scotty stood up and she was like, yeah, and me and Summer ran our ones, so why you bringing my name up? DTB brought your name up. DTB said that they jumped you at the reunion, and Lex responded by saying that you had jumped somebody before that was in her clique. So if you're going to be mad at anybody for bringing your name up, you need to be mad at DTB. And Lex was like, I always was against jumping when I came into the show, but at this point, we're doing what y'all do. We're doing what the OGs showed us that we should be doing, because that's what y'all do. So DTB was basically bringing up how eventually last season, Lex did say she wanted to fight Scotty because she was tired of how Scotty was coming at Summer. And that was in one-on-one situations. And DTB was basically saying Scotty and Summer are both lightweight, so you should have stayed out of that and minded your business because you're a heavy hitter. And Scotty was like, yeah, but you didn't want your friend Summer to keep getting her ass beat. That's what you said in Hawaii. Lex said she never said that. And then Lex was like, yeah, okay, Scotty, you so tough on that side. Like, you popping it because you got all these bitches surrounding you. But when I want to get it, I don't want to hear nothing. And I feel the same way as a viewer. At first, I was like, okay, Lex is just annoying me with this Scotty shit. But Scotty is popping it back. So when y'all fight, it's not a victim thing, Scotty. Like, would I still be more on Scotty's side than Lex's side with their overall argument and beef? Yes. But would I see that Scotty has been popping it, so she might need to just stand up and fight this girl? Yes. So then Lex stood up and she started getting mad, and she was like, yeah, all y'all bees is over there together, and this is all I got, pointing at Summer and obviously talking about Dolly as well. So like I said, I really wish that Lex wasn't friends with these two girls, because that's what's made me not really like her. I did like her the first couple of episodes when she first came on Midwest. I actually thought that she was going to be my favorite. She was my preseason fan fave, and for the first couple of episodes, she was like my fan fave or my MVP. But at this point, I do understand that she's so deep in it with Dolly and Summer, and they've made these beefs with everybody where they're so isolated that she probably does feel like that's all she has. So she just has to have this blind loyalty, unfortunately. Like, she's gotten herself into a hole that's really too deep to get out of. So when Lex was saying that Summer and Dolly was all she had, Scotty was like, yeah, and I'm all I got, because if me and you fight, you don't have to worry about all of these girls jumping in. They gonna let me run my one-on-one with you. But if we fight, I don't know if Dolly and Summer are not gonna jump in. And that's a fact. Even if Lex is fighting somebody like Scotty, who Summer and Dolly know Lex has a good chance of beating, they will still jump in, which is crazy. Anyway, from here, our EP Rolly comes back and she's like, Summer, I feel like you need to give Marissa her ones because you snuck her. She needs that. So Marissa telling Summer to get down off the thing, but you see she already got this little mark on her eye from when Summer got her, when it looked like she was going to jump in Ivory versus Choco. But Summer basically said, okay, I got one round for you. Summer got down and Summer turned Marissa every way but loose. And I told y'all that the first time they fought, I felt like they both wasn't really connecting with each other and that they kind of fought the same. And I said, if Marissa keep fighting people like Summer, she might do okay, but nobody heavy. Like, it was immediately known to me that she would not be able to take any heavy hitters, but she could probably get in the field with the Summers and the Cold K's. But like we all been saying, Summer been getting a little bit better this season. And she tore Marissa every way but loose, like I said. Like, Marissa literally was spinning around in circles, swimming all over the place. And Rolly said when it was done, Summer had given Marissa 2 black eyes. So then Cold K starts pointing at Dolly, talking about, yeah, I hope the cameras got Dolly ducking wrecking this bitch. I hope the cameras got Dolly ducking wrecking this. So Dolly's in the corner. She's still been PC'd up. So I guess she's been there the whole time watching all these brawls take place. I kind of wish we could have seen what Dolly was doing, because I didn't see her this whole episode while all the fights was happening. Like, I want to know what she was doing. Like, was she just standing in there? Was she trying to throw some hits in, throw some kicks in like Anna used to do, even though she's supposed to be on injured reserve? So Dolly was like, oh yes, don't hit me. I'm PC'd up, but best believe when my hand heal, I'ma run it with all of y'all. And Cold K was like, Dolly, all I'm saying is get out there. Just do your best. You don't gotta win every fight. So then Dolly told Cold K that she looked like Despicable Me. Here go K Rican on the side. She said, you look like the Terminator, you box booty, nasty BBL asshole. So once again, Dolly's like, Natalie, Rolly, when my hand get right, I want to run it with everybody. Diamond fell out and started laughing. And Dolly said, laugh now, cry later. Tavy was also on the floor laughing. So I guess Dolly was talking to her too. So from there, Natalie is like, okay, guys, can we finally go do the obstacle course and the Wipeout challenge? And everybody's like, okay, fine. So we basically seeing all the groups now having their conversation. So first we see Summer, Lex, and Dolly. And Lex is just telling Dolly and Summer how hard she hit Cold K when she saw her stomping out Choco. So then we see Cold K crashing out. She's still mad about everything that just happened. And it basically sounds like she want to leave. But Fauna was a real good friend in that moment. I felt like she was kind of one of the only newbies this episode that didn't really get on my nerves in some sort of capacity. Maybe her and Tavy. But everybody else, I saw some wrongdoing in. But yeah, I like that she tried to calm her friend down and basically like turn her away from the cameras so that most of her crash out wasn't filmed. So Cold K basically said Fauna told her, like, you know, we can't really do this without you. We don't want you to go home. And Cold K was like, you know, I understand. I can't do this without y'all either. So, you know, just a real friendship that we see growing between K, Cold K, and Fauna. And then Fauna once again told Zeus and all the production, like, we don't need no cameras in here, respectfully. And the scene stopped. So they actually respected them. And it seemed like they let Fauna finish being a real friend to Cold K off camera. Elsie in her confessional talking about K Rican calling Lex out was the dumbest thing I ever heard. It was the other way around, babe. Pay attention. Russian just D-sucking and D-rodding Summer, Dolly, and Lex talking about, yeah, it's 8 versus 3. I would feel powerful too. Bigging them up in their face. Just sucking they D. And then she in her confessional talking about, yeah, I'm injured. My hand is messed up. But if it wasn't, I would have definitely helped them. I would have definitely got out there. Russian, please. Then we saw DTB, Ivory, and Pretty P. And DTB was like, yeah, Choco is mad. And Pretty P was like, oh, she mad because she got jumped. Ivory gonna say she didn't get jumped. Ivory, what do you mean? So then Summer was like, okay, y'all, where's the shots? Baddy shot a clock. Rolly came over and she was like, right here. She had a water bottle and she was starting to pour the water in everybody's mouth. Russian is all in Rolly face trying to talk to Rolly. Like, Rolly, the wig don't smell good. The wig don't smell good. Rolly ignored her completely. Like, Russian, why are you trying to talk to Rolly? And Rolly just kept walking, and then she just made a slick comment, only the bees I F with. Basically saying, I'm ignoring you, and I'm only pouring these shots in the bees' mouths that I F with. You're not one of them. Stop talking to me. So then we back to the side with Ivory, DTB, and Pretty P. And Ivory said to DTB, just mop her shit one more time, because she still want that with you, so we could have a dark day tomorrow. So I basically think she was saying, DTB, just fight Choco right now so that tomorrow we don't got to film. They probably got a day off. Then Rolly went over to check on Diamond and Pretty P and Ivory and basically was telling them, all right, come on, let's go to the Wipeout. So now we finally see some of the girls participating in the Wipeout and Obstacle Course Challenge. I mean, y'all been here for the whole episode fighting. Y'all might as well actually do the activity. Rolly was jumping. Her feet never left the ground. Scotty was in her element. You know, she's a very athletic girl. She said, you know, this is her Shayla. This is the type of places she likes to have fun. Very active. Tavy was also really enjoying herself. She was in her element. She said she's obviously a tomboy. And she was like, you know, I grew up climbing trees, playing manhunt. This is the type of stuff I like to do as well. Fauna and DTB were also having a good time at the obstacle course. And I'm just sitting there looking at DTB like, yeah, you over here, but you're supposed to be injured. Nobody else that's injured is on the obstacle course. Dolly's not on the obstacle course. Russian's not on the obstacle course. You're not even playing this fake injured role well, babe. So then we see Marissa running up the stairs. So she's running out of Total Ninja. She said she's leaving because she has a split under her eye. Her finger's hurting. So I thought she was leaving the show. She said her foot hurt too and she's just annoyed. But then Natalie came out and sat in the car with her, checked on her. So Natalie was telling Marissa to just come back in and actually do the obstacle course and kind of enjoy the moment. And she was like, no, I need to go get my wig fixed and I need to go get my eye checked out. And Natalie was like, it's just a little scratch. It's not that deep. And Marissa was like, it is cut deep. And she was like, okay, then I guess we'll just see you at the club. So Marissa's not leaving the show. She's just leaving the activity that they're at. And, you know, she was telling Natalie that her finger was already messed up, which we did see because I told y'all Marissa did walk into the club on one of the last episodes with like a splint or whatever you call it on her finger. But then she turned to the camera and she was like, no excuses, though. I'm going to run it back again. So she letting it be known like, you know, I'm not calling no excuses and I'm ready to get in the paint with Summer again. Then when Natalie was getting out the car with Marissa, she was like, okay, feel better. And Marissa was like, oh, I don't feel bad. Don't make it sound like that, Natalie. And she got out the car and was like, yeah, and I'm going to beat Summer's ass every day until I leave. Oh, she's mad. So back inside the place, Russian is yelling on the side with Choco and all of them. And she's like, look at DTB in the obstacle course. She's not injured. I'm injured for real. Let her get her ones. Then we saw Fauna come off the obstacle course and she was like, that was a workout. I'm not doing nothing else today. And in her confessional, she said she's proud of herself because she's the only baddie who actually went through the whole obstacle course today. So Elsie and Russian started telling Choco to go. Like, go get DTB. Nobody's going to jump you. And she's not injured. They all over there having a good time. So she went over to DTB and she was like, come on. We have to fight at the end of the day. You snuck me. You know that. We have to fight. So DTB was like, all right, fine. I'm not ducking no smoke. And Ivory was like, okay, like, she still want to fight DTB, so F it. Like, it's no point in Ivory keep trying to fight for DTB because Choco not going to stop until she actually fights DTB. But here goes Coach Ivory again. And she said in her confessional, I'm about to tell DTB exactly what she need to do so she could beat Choco ass. So we saw her telling DTB to take her socks off because the back of the socks was slippery. So Ivory's coaching. DTB and Choco start fighting. Ivory told DTB to aim for Choco's eyes because they were already messed up. DTB did exactly that. And then at the end of it, she ended up kicking Choco in the face. So DTB was like, yeah, you got your round. Now leave me alone. Ivory was so excited, giving DTB all these kisses on the cheek. But Choco said in her confessional she's definitely going to get another round with DTB on her terms and on her time because nobody tells her what to do. And Summer even had to give it up in her confessional. She was rooting for Choco. She was like, Choco, swing. But she said, I ain't gonna lie, DTB got that. So here goes Natalie talking about she's ready to give away another Baddies chain. And she said in the confessionals, I know the chains have been causing a lot of drama. So, of course, I'm going to hand out another chain. So she's admitting that she loves to cause drama. And she did already say in the conversation that she had with Scotty that she might be giving a Baddies chain to the baddie who completed the next activity that they did. So I already kind of was feeling like it was going to be Fauna. For the most part, I do feel like Fauna been standing on business. She's been having her friends back. She's been showing that she's been a good friend and a real friend to Cole K and K Rican. She was my preseason fan fave, but she has kind of underwhelmed me this season as far as personality goes. I do feel like she fades in the background, especially in comparison to Cole K and K Rican, who are her close friends on the show. But I'm not mad at her getting the chain, but do I feel like maybe a different newbie could have deserved it over her? Yes. Choco, Cole K, and K Rican are more deserving in my opinion. And I only say that because, like I said, I feel Choco, Cold K, and K Rican have brought a little bit more to this season and had more memorable moments than Fauna. Like, K Rican always goes viral for her reads, and everybody say she's so funny and was comparing her to Nunu. Cold K goes viral for Cold Killer Ho and Usha Usha and all her other catchphrases. Choco even went viral with the bad black bitch. But what has Fauna really gone viral for, except for her telling people to pronounce her name correctly, which was at the beginning of the season when she was kind of bringing it. But like I said, now mid-season, she's kind of faded into the background, especially in comparison to her friends. But overall, I'm not mad at her getting it. So obviously, Fauna's side was cheering for her, Scotty, Ivory, etc. But this side wasn't cheering for Fauna. Summer, Russian, Dolly, Lex, etc. And Fauna made a joke and basically said, y'all not going to try to fight me tomorrow, right? Basically referring to Lex and Dolly trying to fight Tavy the day after she got her chain. So the episode basically ends with everybody on their way out of the Total Ninja place. Elsie and Choco are still walking side by side. Their alliance seems like it's getting stronger. Tavy's congratulating Fauna on getting her chain and basically says, shout out to the new girls getting the chain before the old girls. And you know Tavy loved Natalie down and she hate people coming for the CEO. She came in on that. That's why she had beef with DTV. So she said in her confessional, I knew that the chain was going to somebody who wasn't Dolly, because she said Dolly even tried to talk down on the chain and tried to devalue this shit, which she did. There was audio that was leaked last season of Dolly saying she didn't give a F about the chain wasn't shit, this, that, and the third. So I knew that Natalie was going to play in her face for a long time before she actually gives her one. So on the next episode, which is going to be episode 14, Rolly was giving Fauna her congratulations on getting her Baddies chain. And Fauna was basically saying how Summer, Dolly, and Lex was looking at her stink. You know, like they was mad she got it. Then we see the girls on their way out, and Ivory says to Dolly, don't try to sneak me tonight. And Dolly was saying, I'm not doing nothing. Then we see Dolly's mad on the bus, and she's basically saying, I'm going to make Baddies history because I'm going to beat the F out of all of them when my hand get right. We'll see. And while they was in the club, Ivory was on the mic like, where's Dolly? Where's Dolly? Where's Dolly? From there, we see Pretty P leave. Her, DTB, and Ivory have a group hug. And Pretty P said, y'all better not try my bees while I'm gone or I'm going to be on that. Like I told y'all, I'm pretty sure Pretty P is going to return. And from there, the girls are leaving Joburg. They're going to arrive to Kenya. And it seems like Natalie and Zeus and them have rented out a whole resort for the girls. So they're going to be staying there. And then we see Natalie telling the girls that they're going to play Baddy Baddy Shot O'Clock, which is her drinking card game. And Rolly reads out the card and it basically says, point out your least favorite baddie and explain why. So Dolly called out Cold K and was like, yeah, B, you my least favorite baddie. So all Cold K kept saying over and over again was, where your chain at? Where your chain at? Where your chain at? Next thing you know, Summer pops on Cold K, but it looked like this time Cold K, Usha was working, and she was Usha that ass. She was whooping Summer. Okay, y'all, so for Baddies Africa episode 13, my least valuable OGs are DTB and Natalie. I did not like how DTB was hiding behind Ivory for majority of the episode, playing stupid, playing this fake injury. I wasn't here for it. Natalie was useless as usual, and I felt like Rolly was the one who was acting most as an EP. So she is my most valuable OG, Rolly. Okay, now for the new Gs. My most valuable new G is Lex. Like I said, to me, she was the only one out of the 5 who didn't somewhat get on my nerves this episode. And I did see where she was coming from as far as whooping Cold K. Because I don't think she saw Choco and Elsie jump Cold K. All she saw was Cold K getting involved in a fight and jumping in a fight that, in her mind, she had no business getting involved in. So she whooped Cold K, and she also whooped K Rican this episode. Least valuable new Gs, Ivory, Paula, and Dolly. I feel like Paula's just fading into the background and following behind Ivory and even DTB at this point. Ivory, I feel like she should have been let DTB get out there with Choco. She should have never been standing in front of her talking about, I'ma take that for her, she's injured, knowing damn well she wasn't injured, and knowing that DTB snuck that girl for no reason. Dolly didn't do anything this episode. She was PC'd up, acting scary, talking about she's injured. Broken Dolly, fragile Dolly, nothing new. And then my least valuable newbies are Marissa and Russian. Russian was just talking too much for me this episode, trying to get Rolly to talk to her. She just was giving too much side chatter when you're not doing nothing. Marissa getting turned every way but loose by Summer is what got her to be the least valuable newbie, and then getting mad about it and wanting to leave. And my most valuable newbie was Fauna, because like I said, she stopped Cold K from crashing out. She was being a good friend to her and protecting her from the cameras and everything in that moment. Okay, y'all, so that's my Baddies Africa episode 13 review slash recap. If you're watching me on TikTok, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. If you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you follow me on TikTok. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all later. Upcoming videos are Jocelyn's Cabaret California episode 2, Baddies Africa episode 14, Baddies Going Wild reunion episode 1. And then I'm going to do a movie recap, which is going to be about some movies that I watched in the last month or so. And series, so Squid Game season 3, Straw, and some other things. Okay, so I'll see y'all later. Bye.